Have you heard of this thing called the dead internet theory?
No, what's that?
The dead internet theory. It's partially conspiracy theory and it's partially people pulling random numbers out of the internet and trying to develop this idea, this consensus of how much of the internet is actually fake. Some people said it's like, hey, 80% of the internet is fake. What do you mean? It's generated by it's not. So it's this theory that most of the internet feels dead because
This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money, with your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's been going on?
what's been going on? Obviously, the good stuff's been going on because we got a hype Theo today. I like that. Today, this week, we got fakeness going on. A lot of people have been talking about it here and there, mentioning some things. I don't know if this is real or, hey, we should push more of this and it's not human enough or it's too fake. You need more technology. It's happening. Something is going on in society. I don't even know how to put words to it, but there's some fakeness going on. We got a lot of stories to talk about that, including the Fire Festival, which is coming back. We've got saucy nugs. We've got a man arrested for creating a bunch of fake Spotify accounts and then using fake Spotify listeners to listen to it. Man earned 10 million and a bunch of time in jail. We got that story. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Even Donald Duck is in the mix. He's showing up on Hot Ones for some reason. But aside from that, there's a little bit of the NFL action going on. We're learning that it's back on. I'm learning that it's back on. Theo already knew this. And in fact, Theo, how does all this sound?
Man, this sounds fire. Let's get into it, bro. Yeah, we'll get into it, guys. But yeah, man, this week was interesting for me, man. I got a chance to see Beetlejuice, the sequel to the original Beetlejuice movie. Do you remember the movie and did
Oh,
you
yeah.
like it?
Oh, yeah. I liked it. And in fact, as a cult favorite, it's one of those I can still throw on and just Beetlejuice.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I saw that movie in like decades, man. So to me, it's just one of those movies just sat there. But I think my daughter, she's a Jenny Ortega fan. She's a young girl from Wednesday on Netflix TV show. She's
Has she seen the first one?
no, exactly. She didn't see
Oh,
the.
okay.
I went to go just take her to see this one, and so I said, okay. After I saw that, I said we're gonna watch the original. So why did I say that? Without getting any spoilers, I'm surprised. The tone is trying to keep the same tone of a movie that came out in 1988 all of that 2024, if that makes sense. So the tone then was like jokey, kind of horror joke, but like corny jokes,
Yeah.
just a lot of asides and little small little double entendres and things like that. But I went in the theater, man. It was like when Bill just make a joke, it was like dead silent. I was like, dude, do people not think this is funny?
Were you the only one laughing?
I think I was, man. And I was like, "Oh no, this is not good." I don't know. The tone was just off, man. And for a movie that came out, and obviously you bringing back a lot of older cast members, some who couldn't be there present. And in fact, one of the older cast members, he cannot be there because he got him done on a charge. One of the actors, so they actually did an interesting thing where they wrote around him. And so I won't spoil everyone. Go check it out. But yeah, he got hemmed up on some charges a couple years ago. Jeffrey Jones, look him up if you want to know what he did. But yeah, so it was just interesting to see these older actresses like Noah Ryder. She was a young girl when it came out. Now she's a 50-year-old woman in Stranger Things. And so she still had the makeup and the hairstyle like she was a 16-year-old. I'm like, wait a minute. She didn't look half bad. But you could tell that's like, why you dressed like a 16-year-old? It didn't make sense. But anyway, just weird movie. But it made $110 million as for recording this. And so I guess it's a success. I guess there's gonna be a Beetlejuice. Oh no, I said it 3 times. But yeah, like there might be another one coming back. I don't know, man. It was just interesting, man. So I asked my daughter, did she like it? She looked at me like real quizzical and just, Dad, it was just, I don't know. It's okay. And so I was like, I don't know if this is gonna the nostalgia play. We talk about this, right?
Yeah.
They really go hard for nostalgia play and then try to remix it with someone that young folks know about, Jenny Ortega or something. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's working as well as people think. Yeah, you might get a little bump, but I don't think it's a long-term strategy for some of the older IP plays that we talk about.
So here's an interesting question for you. Have you ever had like we do this and we're used to this because there was the 80s explosion of technology, which brought us new cartoons and a bunch of new media and cable television. So that's what injected us with content. And then the internet came out and we injected all of that content back into the internet, which birthed this new generation. So there was this whole cycle, right? Where we're like, oh, you don't know about Transformers? And all our hype got transferred. And we did the same thing with Star Wars. We did the same thing with there are kids who know about Jim and the holograms, which weirds me out. Like it never they never did the big social push for Jim and the holograms, but a whole bunch of kids know about it. A girl was showing me, and I was like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, it's a whole cult thing." And I'm like, "Okay." But I say that to say, like, what got pushed into us? Was anything pushed into us by our parents that I know my dad kept pushing certain musicians on me. Like, I'd turn on some song. He's like, "Hey, that's Earth, Wind, and Fire." And I look up the sample and, "Oh, yeah, I guess it is." And there was that connection. But outside of that, it was like my parents had their thing, and it was like, "Hey, you go find your thing and do that."
Mm. That's a good point. I think similarly, music, right? And Anita Baker, my mom used to play that all the time. The Temptations, my dad. So that I think the music was the thing they pushed on us, and that
Mhm.
we injected. And like you mentioned, samples, right? That was a big thing in the '90s. They would take all these songs from the '70s and '60s and inject them with samples. Like, oh, that song was familiar. And my parents, they would listen to a song that, or I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but there was many songs that would come up, and then my parents, oh, this is Jimmy and the Blue Notes, because they would use that sample, right, from back then. Yeah, I think that's interesting. And then so you're saying, okay, here we are, we're technically Gen X, but what are we injecting to our kids? I think it is the pop culture, right? The movie, 'cause we grew up on movies. That was the big thing. Going to movies a lot. Comic book culture became a thing, little side, because it was outside the norm, right? Anything that was
Yep,
outside the norm eventually becomes mainstream eventually. So I think yes, that's what we inject into our kids. So to your point, I'd be curious to see what as they grow up, this generation, Gen Alpha or younger millennials, if you will, what they will interject into culture, right? What will they push back on? It's, oh, it's cool, Mr. Beast. Let's go bring the Mr. Beast movie out. So
yeah,
it'll just be interesting. I do believe it'll be a lot of these influencers that that were hot for a while, maybe went away or did something.
yeah.
I guarantee we're going to see a Mr. Beast or what's the other ones that came out? Logan
PewDiePie.
Paul, PewDiePie, all those guys coming back. What's that guy? King Vader. Remember him? He had a little moment there for a second. Yeah, all these guys will come back out with something, and these kids will be nostalgia for that because I think that's Minecraft. That's
Yep.
their grow up period. So yeah, and someone says a good point is that anything you grew up on when you were like 10, 11, and 12 is always going to be with you, and you're going to revisit it for the rest of your life. I'm still living off the high of seeing Star Wars for the first time, Empire Strikes Back, right? In the movie theaters when I was like 8. So it's like, I'm
Yeah,
just like, "Ugh, I still want that feeling. I can't get it back. Though you never get the original feeling back. Yeah, like that junkie, you never get that same fix, man. You just like, dude, I just remember just blowing my mind being blown. I saw that. And it's I can get close a couple times. Like Matrix almost got me there,
yeah.
but you never get that same feeling. So I think that's what this generation they're gonna inflict these influencers. But yeah, that's a good point, man. I'm glad you brought that up. James, put this on wax, man. Put this somewhere.
Yeah, no, it was just interesting because we were talking about marketing and nostalgia and how we're always using that nostalgia play, and then I'm hearing you talk about Beetlejuice, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I don't you said that you really didn't connect with the movie like that, so you didn't feel the need to, like, "Hey, let's sit down and have a Beetlejuice night before we watch the movie." It's, "Yeah, let's just go."
Mm,
So it's funny. I just wonder about the marketing minds and the conversations that go on with this whole thing. Okay, this is cute, but can you pass it on to somebody? Can you tell somebody about it? I know with anime, what's interesting is they leave a lot of the story out of the actual story they produce, but they take all that information and put it in these information books, these data books, these side stories, similar to comic books and things. But it's funny with anime, people will be just straight up confused. Oh, wait a minute. Why did she say that she knew him from such and such? That was weird. And then somebody will jump up. Actually, there's a 7-volume saga of all these books, and they come out and they're like, oh. And it seems like that there's a market that is actually built with that in mind. And I'm just starting to think about that as I'm building more content and everything. It's like, where's the underneath that I can share with certain people that I can share and because there's some things I put to reels, and there's some things I put to podcasts, and there's some things I put to the email newsletter, and different parts of the audience know about different things. So
Mhm.
just thinking marketing.
Yeah, good point. It's like real ones know. If you're a real
Yeah.
one, what the real information is, right? I think Alex Hormozy said that exclusivity is another big thing to do when it comes to getting more people to your content or to your product. How you create this velvet rope effect, and what you're saying, doling it out like pieces. Hey, this is it, and then someone says, "Wait a minute, is that really it?" But wait a minute, he referenced this thing. I don't know what he's talking about. But then you go deeper and you go into your internet. Oh, that's what he was talking about back then. And so now you're a real one and you're behind that red velvet. And I think Warren Ellis, the writer, the crazy comic book writer, he talked about this too. Like when he was writing, he writes his stories. It's so detailed and oriented when you read his comic books. But he said, look, any of the stuff you can look up on the internet. So it's not he'll reference some villain that came out in 1972. Superman fought and he'll reference it in the comic book like a main plot line. You're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
You can figure it out if you do the research. But yeah, I think that's how you create that exclusivity that Alice Mosey was talking about, this red
Mhm.
velvet effect. If you dole out the information, but is there, like our podcast, we'll reference stuff that we've been talking about for couple years now.
Yeah.
And the real ones know it sounds juicy. The real ones know where that's
Yeah,
from.
exactly. Please feel free to visit our podcast archive. It is juicy.
So juicy.
Yeah, man. But dog, this week, a little backyard baseball here, behind the scenes baseball. We're recording this on a different day. And in the process of just things moving forward, things have to change and you're trying out different things. Man, dog, sometimes something comes up that you just didn't expect to change anything, but changes everything.
Okay.
The heat wave was kicking my rump, dog. I'm trying to I'm trying to do things. I'm like, yeah, this day is gonna be cool. We're gonna be doing this, we're gonna be doing that. And man, this heat wave came up. I walked down to the little corner store to pick up something. I was walking back stumbling. So hot, dog. I couldn't do it. Schedule got all messed up, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if Theo can record on a different day because I'm just gonna move everything to this day and use my other day as my rest and relaxation day because it just wasn't working out.
Love it, man. Gotta adjust, man. And yeah, I didn't know it was that bad in California. In Florida, yes, it's been hot. But what's been saving us the last couple of weeks it's been raining literally every
Mm,
day around like rush hour, 5 o'clock. So that's no, it's not because you're navigating rush hour in the middle at 5 o'clock when it's coming down thunder, lightning as you're trying to get across town. But at least it cools things down a little bit. But yeah, man, this heat wave is real, man. They said it was what the hottest summer on record, I think. And so,
for
yeah,
Florida
man,
or just all around?
all over the world, man. They said it's
Okay.
pretty bad. So it's not just us that's experiencing it, but all over the world.
Yeah, my friend from Inland Empire, part of the Los Angeles area, for those of you wondering, sent out a picture of his phone. It said 110 degrees with a high of 111.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's
Yeah.
shameful.
Yeah, man. I think was it this year or last year? I think Phoenix, Arizona area got like 125 in certain areas. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, this is climate change is real, man. So I don't know. It's one of those things where yeah, this is getting ridiculous. All this heat wave.
Yeah, glad I don't play sports. That's
Why
that's
not, Mr. Bitchin?
glad I don't even watch sports anymore.
Oh, man. Guess what, man? NFL is back, baby.
Oh my god.
Look, of the two of us, I probably watch more NFL than you. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast a little bit earlier, because my beloved Buccaneers play today, the first game of the season on the Sunday. That's
Oh,
important. So I want to wrap this up and watch the rest of the game and see what they do. But yeah, man, I'm like I said, NFL. Look, it's a big thing. It's $1 billion
I love it.
business. This is our religion. Let's be honest. Comes on Sundays. People tailgate. They have these rituals. They wear special garb, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When they walk around Sundays, they have rituals. They have they drink wine and they feast and they prepare to come to the altar of the NFL church. So yeah, this is unfortunately the Church of America right now, and so it's just becoming bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah. You ever
I
do
mean,
any,
and
like,
so
crazy tailgating?
not really. I'll just show up at people's tailgates, especially in Atlanta, not as much here, which
Yeah.
is fun, man. Just even if you don't do a big tailgate yourself, it's just, man, these people go all out, man. Number one, people travel all over. This is literally what they do. They get the schedule and then they plan their trips on where the game is going, their team is going to play. So if the team is going to Vegas or New Orleans,
Mm.
they already got the plane ticket, they're ready to go. So that's just part of their fall travel schedule, right? Especially people who had the means and can get off a little bit of time. So that's just what they do. Number
Yeah.
2, people they have these big campers and they get all out. And so they have these special rituals of what they eat and people they invite, and especially if it's a home game, they have their set seats. They probably know these people for like years, even
Yeah.
decades. So this exactly. And so the team may change the players and they may be a down year or whatever, but it's almost like a habit, man. This is what they do. And it's been like that for decades, but I think it's just accelerated more and more because the advent of fantasy football, right? Then basically it was legalized gambling. Let's be honest. People would play on the, and I did some fantasy football, but it's just too much, man. It's too much. So, yeah, trying to watch it. The real ones know, trying to be on a a wire like right before, like at a what 12:59 because your wide receivers found out he's on injured reserve at the last minute, so you're scrambling to find a wide receiver. It's just not fun at all. Or you forgot your defense is on a bye week and you have no defense to go into the game. Just it was too much stress, man. It was too much stress, and
Yeah.
so yeah. Did you ever play fantasy football?
I got into it for 4 days. I said, "This is too much." Don't
Man, I
forget,
was
now,
talking to one.
I actually really liked sports at one point, but as you said, man, it was just too much, and it was pulling away from my video game time. Well, so when
Kid.
I stopped playing sports video games, that was the first pull the plug moment. I stopped playing sports video games, and I separated myself from that whole crowd because there was a whole crowd that would, like, play sports video games and then watch the sports, and then it was back and forth. But I stopped playing the video games. I was like, "Whew, let me go play some World of Warcraft or Call of Duty or anything but Madden or something like that." And then I was like, "Oh man," I just let go of sports after that, and I had to tell my tailgating friends, "Sorry, can't do it anymore." Yeah,
Oh wow. Oh, you were really into, especially there. I think you're in San Diego. That's a pretty decent sports town, and then LA not as much, but yeah, I've been in the South for the last, what, 20, 25 years. And yeah, this is huge, man, especially college football. You see, championship is always on my birthday weekend. So
yeah,
when I invite people over for my party, I'm like, oh, Georgia and Alabama, they're playing the same time. So how many people going to show up? That was always my calculus. And then Labor Day is always a kick. I always tell you about this, right?
huh,
Labor Day in Atlanta is the weirdest time.
hmm,
Did I ever tell you about that story?
no,
Yeah, yeah. James put this on wax. It's the weirdest time because they had 3 crazy events, 3 different, and they're all walking around downtown. You have the kickoff for the SEC football, so usually a big team, probably Georgia or somebody, or Alabama playing some other team. So you have all the sports bros coming down, or sports nerds, if you will, college football nerds or wannabe ones. Then you have, yeah, then you have Dragon Con, which is the big convention there every year, a mini Comic Con, but it's also include fantasy. So you got a lot of people dressed up as dragons and warlocks walking around downtown. And then let's throw in a little LGBT. I think that's Black Pride weekend as well in Atlanta. So you got a lot of that going on, man. So it's just very interesting mix of different cultures all at the same time in Atlanta. Labor Day weekend. It was always fascinating to me. Matter of fact, I still get some of that stuff popping up on my timeline of when I would go down there and just see random like Spider-Man walking around next to a sports bro with Georgia jersey. So it just, yeah, I love it, man. So anyway, those are weird times.
yeah, but yeah, NFL's back. You happy about it? Kendrick Lamar's performing this year at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. That dude just dropped recently, man. Good for him. I guess he's a superstar now. I guess was he a superstar before that?
I wouldn't call
Before
him
this
that.
year?
I wouldn't
Yeah, me
call him that.
neither. He was like a guest appearance. Remember when it was in LA as part of the whole LA crew? He popped up.
Yeah,
It was like
definitely.
Snoop.
Yeah, definitely a factor and a force, but he's one of those people who's been around, but you can't point to a big one-hit wonder kind of event where it's like Michael Jackson was known for the moonwalk. When Bad came out, Thriller. There are these things. Snoop Dogg was known for G Thing and Gin and Juice, where everybody was like, "Hey, Gin and Juice." It's like they had these catch things. And I don't think Kendrick really had that big catchy moment, big
until
until Not
until
Like Us.
yeah, I agree. But I don't know, has Usher really had a big hit moment? He was
Yeah, literally the song. Yeah,
was that really him though? Or was
that was
that Lil
him.
Jon?
That he was riding the Lil Jon wave. Yes, that is
Okay.
true.
Okay. So that was his thing. What about J Lo and Shakira? They did a Super Bowl halftime
Uh,
show.
J Lo has been around, Jenny around the block. What was that song that everybody was running out talking about? Yay, J Lo! I forgot because I don't follow J Lo, but yeah, most of them have had something. Even if it's like being on People magazine, like who is J Lo? Oh, she's out here with
Mhm.
Ben Affleck on People magazine. Now she's dating Diddy and this person and whatever. So
What about the headliner of the weekend?
the weekend.
Yeah, he was the
Oh,
headliner
the
of the
actual guy
first
of the
Super Bowl.
weekend. Yeah, but to me, even he's not really he's there, but he doesn't have that moment. And I'm just thinking about moments or
And like I said, he did a headline. It was brief. I don't know if you remember that. I forgot what Super Bowl was. He was the headliner for the Super Bowl that time. But
mm,
I can't think of anything. He didn't really have a moment to your point.
no, good point though.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but kudos to Kendrick Lamar, man. He's blowing up, and yeah, man, I think that's interesting. I think this year it's going to be in New Orleans, your kind of towns. We didn't put this on the show notes, but did you see 50 Cent had something in Shreveport? It was like the comedy and music festival. Did you see that? I don't know.
Yeah, we mentioned this briefly a couple shows back where he's doing work with his Power series and everything and his filmmaking in Shreveport. And he's moving a lot of stuff down there. And for a
Interesting.
while now, Louisiana has been pushing to become this place where people do a lot of filming. So
Mhm,
between New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Shreveport, they've become like these, I don't want to say hubs, but if you're gonna shoot a shot out in the country somewhere, out in some big meadow, or have a swamp, or maybe you need a beach of some sort that's not really recognizable as like a Panama City beach or something like that, you take it down to Louisiana, and there are a lot of places with not too many people getting in the way of just film production, and it works.
yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think did I tell you the story that I was there at the beginning when Atlanta did the huge tax incentive to get a lot of Hollywood to come down there
Yeah,
to film. So
that's why we get that Georgia peach on all these films rolling up.
yeah, it did better than they expected because so high level, the way I understand it is like a tax credit. So if you're like a millionaire, you have all these taxes, right? But you can buy credits so that you can make your taxable income go down so you don't have to pay as much in taxes. So what happens is if you invest in movies, they'll give you tax credits. So you put $1 million to the Avengers, which filmed down there in Georgia,
Mhm.
then guess what? That $1 million will go against your tax bill. So instead of you're saying you made 20 million last year, oh, you only made 19 million. Oh, well, we don't have to tax you as much. And so it's a way to make an investment. At the same time, you're not getting taxed as much. And so they did that like back in when I had first moved. What was that back in 08, 2008? And I met the guy. What was his name? Bradford. I'll look him up again. Maybe put in the show notes. But yeah, I talked to him. Said, yeah, we're gonna do. You said we did this. We'll see what happens. And it started small, as a few little indie things and stuff. And then all of a sudden, it was like next thing you know, every Marvel movie was being filmed down there. I would hear everybody saying, "Oh yeah, I saw Robert Downey Jr. He was playing table tennis with me last night." I was like, "What is going on?" And he already had the reality show crap that was going on down there, as well as
Yeah,
all the music stuff from So Def. So it really became the Black Hollywood, Black Mecca for a while. It still is, right? But it's funny how you see starting to spread out to Shreveport and other southern cities to see what they can do from an investment standpoint. So no, kudos to them, man. Hey, real quick, I know this is a sharp turn too, but I did want to go back to the NFL a little bit because from a business standpoint, show versus business, I did some numbers on that, looked at some things. It's interesting. NFL is really trying to expand
okay.
in two ways. Number one, they're trying to get more days. Typically, football comes on what? Monday nights and Sundays. They're trying to get more days. So they've been having Thursday night games for a while now. But we talked about this, right? The Black Friday game, right? And then
Yeah.
obviously when it gets closer to the playoffs, they have a Saturday game. So it's just they're just doing more and more, right? When it goes to days that they can actually play. That was another reason why I stopped doing fantasy football. I was like, man, I can't keep up. Literally, football. It would be supposed to be on once a week. It's on 5 days a week. And I'm like, I can't keep up because these players get injured so fast. So anyway, you're like had the top running back. He got injured. He's out for 3 games. Oh no, who gonna pick up? So anyway, and then they're trying to expand it internationally, right? I think you heard about the London games. They do a Germany game now. Kansas City did last year. So they have players going down to London every year and then
Huh.
Germany. And then now expand. They just did a game on Friday, different day, in Brazil, Green Bay and Philly. And that was the first
Oh,
time they ever did in Brazil.
so this is I'm looking it up and yeah, NFL London games. And I thought I might see. I thought you were saying that they have leagues or teams, but these are American teams playing overseas.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bucks used to do it all the time. I think because the Glazer family, they own like a soccer team there. But that sucks for the NFL players because you're flying 6, 7 hours and there's a different timeline. So they're
Huh.
playing an NFL game on Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys on the West Coast, man. Are you getting up at 3 in the morning to watch a football game? Maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, they're starting to do more of that. And I just thought about this is very similar to what the NBA did, right? They invested more international, right? Not only did they have a franchise in Canada, right? They had two at one time, Grizzlies and Toronto.
Right.
The Grizzlies, yeah, but then they only have one now, so that helped. But they just really made an effort to invest more into the international because they saw the growth opportunity. So I looked at the numbers in 2000, number of international players 57 in 2024, do you know how many international players are in the NBA currently?
Tell me.
Yeah, Barry saw it. He saw this was 125, man. And the last three MVP winners, well, last two, yeah, basically one, the Joker, uh, Jokic, he was MVP. He's international. He's from Serbia. So it just shows you how the investment has done. And there's even rumors that the NFL is becoming more of an international league. The NBA, excuse me, NBA has become more of an international
Yeah.
kind of league than really based in US. Like US players are not even selected number one in the draft anymore. So I'm wondering if NFL is leaning that way. They saw the growth that the NBA did. NBA just signed a massive what I think it was like $60 billion TV deal. And NFL's wait a minute, how did the NBA get that much money? And they don't have as many people watching their games as us. So
Yeah.
NFL is looking at international, trying to expand. And so I'll be curious to see how's that play out over time because it's such an American game. We call it football, right? Which is the rest of the world doesn't call NFL football, right? They call soccer football. So
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how it translates across the world. And then one last thing I just want to talk about, one thing driving this we talked about at the beginning was the legalized betting through fantasy football, but that has become real betting, things like FanDuel and DraftKings, where I don't know if you see these commercials, man. They're like everywhere, man. And I tell my son, I said, man, don't get wrapped up in that. Don't get wrapped up in it. They are seriously marketing to young men to get that
Okay.
dopamine hit. And you got Kevin Hart out there. They just had one with Kevin Hart and LeBron James. It's just so cool. And it's an app you can do crazy things. We talked about this parlays where you can bet on, okay, I'm going to do a parlay. If Patrick Mahomes gets 2 touchdowns and Justin Jefferson gets a touchdown, we'll
Yeah.
make $1 million. And it's like crazy bets that there is no data or statistics on how you ever win that. And so it's alarming. I have my spider sense is going off that this can't end well, man. This sounds similar to the blockchain, Bitcoin, metaverse fiasco with all this
Yeah.
betting. You got these young men out here betting on an app. They then bells and whistles, gets you excited, gets that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And yeah, my favorite celebrities are talking about it to bet. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm in debt and I can't pay my rent. It's just, yeah, this doesn't look good.
Yeah. There's a special connection between you have your what you do. It's an activity you can participate in. You have an app, and it connects to the real world, and there are real world events that like people are keeping track of. There's whole society around it, and then there's money involved. So you've got this cyclone of just yeah, like you were saying incentives and disincentives and things going on that's wrapped up in this whole cyclone of interactions and dopamine. And I've seen that with flipping sneakers where a celebrity comes out with a new sneaker, showing it on TV, the people watch it, then groups sit around and talk about it, then you buy them and wear them. People at school or at work wearing them, you're like, "Hey, you got the new jacket or the new da shoes?" And they're like, "Yeah, I got this." Add money to that equation where now it's weird, man. And I think if you can get that, like they did with Pokemon cards, like they did with sports betting, like you're doing with flipping sneakers, that's a crazy feedback cycle. And it's big.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, that is probably what's driving a lot of NFL watchability, right? You have stakes in the game now, right? Just like you did with fantasy football. If your guy got a touchdown and you won your fantasy league, you get a little dollars at the end of the year. This one is literally dollars, right? And so that's what's driving a lot of this. And you see so many commercials for DraftKings and FanDuel's the two big wigs. ESPN has their own kind of ESPN. It's crazy. They have their own sports betting app, but FanDuel valuation is at $20 billion and DraftKings is at 17 billion. And they're investing so much advertising, not just in ads and video ads, but they're investing in influencers. All
Mhm.
these ESPN personalities have their own podcast now on YouTube, right? They all got kicked off ESPN. They're starting their own thing. And all of them are, guess what? FanDuel, DraftKings invest in them. Similar to another story we'll talk about maybe later, but you have influencers being influenced by the money that they're getting. And so it'd be interesting. I'm sure they're not talking against betting in sports. So anyway, it's interesting, man, to see these trends play out. And I don't know, man. It's just the cycles, man, just over. Man, didn't we just do this with Bitcoin and NFTs and you know, all this stuff is this is something that's gonna happen. I can guarantee the next 2 years they're gonna be there's a crisis in gambling. Why these kids keep gambling? They have no money and they're on the streets. So we just saw this happening. So anyway.
Yeah, flipping the whole, yeah, it all rolls together in this weird thing where we're in, man. And it's hard to tell what's real out there. So that makes it even more concerning because just
Yeah.
we just got fakeness on the rise. And we ended up with a bunch of stories this week about just general fake stuff online. And before we get into that, I want to ask you, have you heard of this thing called the dead internet theory?
No, what's that?
So the dead internet theory, it's partially conspiracy theory and it's partially people pulling random numbers out of not the air, but random numbers off the internet and trying to develop this idea, this consensus of how much of the internet is actually fake. Some people said it's like, hey, 80% of the internet is fake. What do you mean? It's generated by bots. It's not real people. It's AI systems developing websites that people are reading and watching, the comment boards, the Spotify songs. A lot of them are generated by AI. And we have a story on that up here too. So it's this theory that most of the internet feels dead because it's not real. And so you see somebody with all these comments and likes, and you're like, you go look at the comments and likes, two of them seem like they're coming from real people and the rest aren't. Or it's just a really bizarre idea that we think there are all these people out there interacting, but 80 from anywhere from 20 to 80% of it is computer generated or fake,
Mm. And
manufactured,
now
I should say.
AI's influence, this is probably gonna ramp up because it could probably mimic a human connection, right? We talked about this, right? Having
Mhm.
AI avatars out there communicating amongst themselves, right? Generating views and doing their own thing.
Yep.
Like you look at your account, oh wow, I got 30 million followers. Who knew? They're all AI. Yeah, man. There was what they didn't they say Instagram, excuse me, Twitter, aka X, had a big bot problem, right? All these they say
Mhm.
any big account had somewhere up to 50, 60, 70% bots that were following them. And even on some smaller accounts like my account, my team goes through it sometimes, they'll clean it up. And as soon as we unfollow a bot, they'll unfollow us. And so it's already trained to do all that. So yeah, it's so much stuff out there, man, that I would agree, man. It's the fakeness is becoming the norm and not the exception anymore. And I think that's gonna be man, realness is gonna be I think that's gonna be determined in the new decade, man. What is real, what is not. And the people who can portray, even if they're not real, if they can be perceived as real, those are the ones who are gonna win.
Yes, and that's an interesting thing. We got a couple stories here. We'll pick up on them as we go along. But being able to construct something that's not necessarily real, but feels real enough that people want to engage with it and ignore the fakeness. Because I've seen comment threads where somebody all of a sudden will say, "Man, you a bot," and just call somebody a bot. And then if there's no reply, I wonder about it. Oh shoot, he didn't reply. Maybe he was a bot. Oh, let's see.
They're also just the way the YouTube is changing. People want realness. They say, "Hey, forget all this fancy editing. Just use your phone now. Just do a recording on your phone, and they still gonna get millions of views." And I think that's true, man. I'm seeing some of the big influencers right now. Some of their stuff is becoming less and less smartly edited. Right? They're using
Mhm.
phones, and they're like even Ryan Pineda. I saw him the other day. He had a video where he was just talking to the guy on the phone. He had his slick setup, but the guy was on his phone doing a one-on-one consultation with him.
Yeah.
Is becoming more and more real. The realness of the interaction is becoming more important than ever before. So I thought that was interesting.
I would actually rephrase that, not for you. That's I get what you're saying. But when I see that, I tend to think of the marketing of, "Hey, can I be your friend?" Or, "Hey, hello, fellow children," or whatever. Just it's got this vibe of I have $1 million studio, but I'm just doing this to make it seem like I'm
Mhm.
just like you. Like Gary Vee is really good at that. And he even said that. He was like, yeah, you don't have a 6-person team working full time and you don't have access to a 50-person team who can jump in at any moment to really hammer in on something. But even so, I'll still film a video just by holding my phone up in the air, and then in 30 minutes, I've got 50 versions of it going out on all the different areas,
Yeah.
Snapchat or this or that.
Yeah, and that's what I tell my team too. Is just repurpose a lot of stuff. Even if I put it out there, you can cut it up, chop it up, do whatever. But yeah, that's where the distribution piece, to your point, is going to be probably where the investment is. It's like, how do we get this in front of more eyeballs? But yeah, create some little video, don't matter. Throw it out there, but then boom, we're gonna chop it up. You said this, you said that, we're gonna do this. So yeah, I think yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this leads. What fakeness did you find out there, Mr. Benja?
Oh man. So speaking of teams and doing podcast clips, I found this reality show called Offline, and it it highlights a thing that people do that I don't know that everybody has figured out. A lot of these podcast clips, like you see a clip from a podcast, and obviously there are more people watching the clips than the entire 3-hour podcast because time, 30 seconds versus 3 hours. There are people out there sitting down in podcast studios making podcast clips without actually making a podcast. So they're just, let me write down, hey, here's what I'm going to ask you. Here's what you're going to respond with. And it's going to take about 30 to 40 seconds. And then we'll cut and then we'll do another one. So it's this weird Q&A kind of thing. And they're totally prompting these people, hey, act like you're upset about this question. And it's a whole thing. So next time you're scrolling through your clips and you see somebody on a couch and they sit up and say, hold on, that's actually not true because blah, 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 blah. And that's the real truth behind children's lunch snacks or whatever. That clip might have never been a part of a podcast. It may have just been made as that clip looking like it was part of a podcast.
That is funny. Yeah, yeah. The deaths that people are going to, right? To I think about economic, the
Mhm.
incentives drive behavior, and so obviously people's behavior is being driven by the economy of content marketing or content creation, and so they're going to find ways to generate any kind of content that's getting some traction. If clips are getting people to at least observe that a little bit, then yeah, I agree. We use it in our strategy, right? We use a lot of clips and from our and create shorts and they go a little viral. And be honest with you, that drives some of our growth, right? With subscribers. You see the clips. I don't know how many of those if you guys do watch the whole video and the whole hour-long podcast. Thank you. You guys are a real one, and we got some special cookies in there for you.
Don't think
A little bit. Yeah, yeah, don't say that. We got some special Easter eggs in there, but for the most part, I think those are a good strategy because you're right. I can see myself sometimes I don't find people, I watch their clips too first and then I get into that rabbit hole. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just funny how, and we were talking to my team too, like how do you get people to your ecosystem? So we've been kind of experiment with thumbnails. I don't know if you saw some of my thumbnails recently, but I was just like, hey, let's
Oh,
just
yeah.
cut to the chase, man. Like one of my thumbnails, it says, "This is the answer," and they were like, "What are you trying to say?" I said, "It doesn't matter, man. It's just people are just curious. They're like, what is he talking about?" And the next thing
Yeah.
they're gonna look at is the thumbnail title, the title from the description to find out what the hell I'm talking about. You just want to get as many people. So just say something crazy. AI is making money.
Or you could do, and shout out to James, man, because this had me cracking up. You could just put a circle on your thumbnail, like you got a highlighted pin and you had to circle something in the thumbnail. So people are like, hey, wait, what was that circle? Do I need to know about that? Ooh, what did I miss? Dude, that is one of the funniest little attention grabbers I've ever seen.
Shout out to James. James, man, coming through. I
We
love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we try not to just do pure clickbait and because that's annoying and we know how that is. But some of those things are just funny and it gets you to stop. And so we had Robert Downey Jr. and you put a little circle on the mask of Doctor Doom. It's okay, that's cool. That makes sense. But yeah, some of these people, man, they're just doing whatever.
I know. And then copying folks, it's hilarious. So yeah, fakeness, man. What else, man? I love this
Oh,
fakeness talk.
check this out. Did you hear about this man who was arrested for creating fake bands with AI, putting those bands on Spotify, and then having an AI army of fake listeners listen to those bands on Spotify and getting paid $10 million on Spotify?
Love it. Love it.
That's and we don't promote this. We don't think that you should, and neither does the government because he was arrested and I don't know what his charge is now, but he's 52-year-old man from North Carolina. Huh, all right, well, good job, North Carolina man. Yeah, it's indicted on 3 counts involving money laundering and wire fraud. He faces a maximum of 20 years per target. So
Wow.
they could make an example out of this guy depending on how mean Spotify is feeling at the moment.
Yeah, I think they should. It's almost amazing. He was able to create all these different songs with AI and then able to listen to them with his bot army. But yeah, man. But this is ones that the one guy we found. How many are doing it, but maybe at a small level or pieces of it. They may have a real band, but they like faked 20 of their songs, right? They did
Yeah.
one song. Okay, guys, I'm gonna make 30 songs. We have an album now. Just give me one song. One matter of fact, just give me one verse. So they're real.
That's how a lot of the music industry works. I was about to say worked in the past, but that's how it works. They're like looking for somebody who's bubbling up, has an audience, and they're like, "Hey, we can cash in this person for a multi-million-dollar paycheck,
Mhm.
and if they survive, cool. If they don't, cool. We got another whole group of people." And then this whole thing about internal competition, where you've got just hundreds of people lined up around your studio to record a song. It's like, "Hey, we're doing song recordings, come in and get a one-hit wonder, get some money off of them, kick them out onto the next person." And yeah, filling out an album is not a problem. You
Mhm.
give one song, that one hit they're looking for, psh, the the rest of the album is cake. It's just, yeah, we're just gonna put you in the machine, drop you in one end, come out the other with an album, fresh cover, one hit single.
But then also using AI, I'm assuming, because a lot of the songs sound alike, and I don't know if that was just correlated to I'm getting older and they all sound alike. But what have you taken? Okay, what's the similarities for all these hit songs? Let's take what people like out of them, take them out, and make them more popular. Like there's a I think someone said that the way you make a song popular is use the same kind of beats and hooks that worked before, and you just change it with new music. I hear this all the time. New artists are literally taking songs beat per beat.
Mhm.
No more sampling anymore. F that. Now and they just basically it's wait a minute, that's just like the song I heard before, but it's a whole new beat, a whole new song. They had one sitting on top of the world. I forgot who that was. It Moneybag Yo. I can't remember what new artist, but that was a song from Brandy and Mace. And every time that beat come on, I don't know if you remember that song, but that doom 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 doom, and then that itself was sampled from another song. So it's just so music, man. It's just, and it really is about the TikToks, right? So you can just get one of your songs and just go get you probably get some people. I can imagine they're probably if they can get the AI good enough, they'll probably create some viral AI influencers doing some dances to your
Yeah.
songs, and then
Mhm.
that will help it go viral. So it's the fakeness is real, man. I mean, that's what we should call this podcast.
Yeah, the fakeness is real. And people are fighting on the internet, it's like saying, "Hey, human touch is what we're always going to admire and everything." And that's true. But you gotta understand, it's not like an on or off kind of thing. People are slowly integrating these technologies into the production stream, into the manufacturing process. So it's going to just infect it more and more. Recently, and Timbaland got a little bit of heat for this. Timbaland, any music producer or any music composer, developer, singer, artist, rapper, whatever, they are going to have a huge backlog and library of just ideas, thoughts, treatments, whatever. They just have a huge backlog of it that they built up in the process of getting to the finished products. So Timbaland was on a stream and he was trying out some AI. He's yeah, so I got this old song here, never could figure out the right way to really work it. And he started pressing some buttons and he's talking to an engineer in the studio. And what happened was he said, "Hey, so how does this sound with this person singing in the background over this beat? And then we'll have a bridge and go into the next part of the rap." And he played it. And Timbaland, when he does his thing, he's usually just sitting back. And then all of a sudden, the lady's voice came in singing. That was the AI part. How did they
Mm.
get that to sing the certain way and put a little funk and whatever on it? And the engineer guy was like, "Yeah, it looked back at all of your other songs and you like doing it this way." So he gathered that it could be done this way. So it developed an AI girl's voice to sing this way. And he was like, "Wait a minute." And Timbaland just was like, "Listen, I got a whole bunch of backlog of songs that I never could quite figure out, never put the time to. I don't have to hire somebody to come in the studio and work it with me for 3 days. I can just try out a bunch of stuff." And people were like, "Boo. You know, we thought you were a musician." He was like, "Shoot, I'm gonna use this."
Yeah, man. Jeez, yeah. You're an artist, Mr. Benja. How obviously there's fakeness in art, right? How do you
Yeah.
feel about that? Using tools to create your art while at the same time the same art could replace you. How do you feel about that?
And this goes back to why Warhol was so popular in the first place. He was telling you that, yeah, there's a manufacturing fakeness to all of this that we're seeing, and it's changing everything. So, what do I feel about it? Uh, un- I don't want to say unfortunately, but the situation is art changes, expression changes, things move forward, and what we held true to has to change. So, at some point, you don't have the same love for vinyl music because vinyl music doesn't make as much sense. It might not go
Mhm.
away completely, like hand painted signs in storefronts may never go away completely, but you have these big rigs and big machines that can paint wall signs and murals for you. So the art changes, and your art that you think is so pure and human is going to be marked by a period of time. And then the next period of time is going to have its own art and its own humanity. Our job, I think, is to pull the humanity and the human expression out of it. Does that come from a single artist anymore? Maybe not. Maybe it comes from a community. Does that come from actually implementing the art or just having an idea? Does that come from creating necessarily yourself or learning how to curate in such a way that everybody rocks with you because that is your human expression? Whatever your human expression is, try to figure out how that works in modern technology.
You hit the nail on the head. We talk about marketing all the time, and I'm glad as an artist you talk about this. But you talk about Warhol, we talk about Banksy. This is why we know them because guess what? They're brands, and so
Yeah,
their expression of themselves is part of their brand. And so now that makes their art more valuable, or it becomes it's not so much, hey, I got this, whatever, what's Warhol's? I don't know some of
the
his
soup can.
pieces called. Yeah, soup can. We don't say I want to buy the soup can. You say I want to buy a Warhol piece, right? It becomes the brand that you're buying. It's not
I don't want that. ugly ass lady with the twisted up face. I want a Picasso.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's part of this. I think that's true for everybody, man. If you create anything, though, I think the way you stay relevant or stay differentiated is you have to create your own brand and people know who that is and what you stand for. So now it just you create your fans. We talk about your hundreds, thousand streaming fans, 100 streaming fans, or whatever, and you become that brand, and that's part of the human expression that you bring to it. So when you do have product or pieces or whatever, then people, yeah, for you pieces, for me products, then
Yeah,
people like, oh yeah, that's the real Theo Harvey. I've been listening to him for years. Matter
yeah,
of fact, oh yeah, I have my wife was joking me, but I had a good time. I called someone the other day. I was on my email list, right? So I'm trying to like escalate them through my funnel, trying to see if they'd be interested in,
right, right.
get some stuff. I do sell a book, and so I think they bought the book, so I knew that they were a customer of mine. So I just picked it up the phone. I said, "Hey, Maria." I said, "Hey, this is Theo." She said, "Theo." Yeah. Like, is this Theo Harvey?
The real Theo Hardy.
Yeah. She was like, oh man, I love you. Look, this is not a good time, but give me a call back. She talked to me like she knew me for years. And I was like, man, how long has she been on my email list? She's been on it for like at least 2 years almost.
That's
And she
great, man.
bought a book and it was like she just knew me. And it was like such an easy conversation. And it's not like, so, like I said, we talk about this all the time, but I'm in this for the long haul. I'll tell everybody, yes, I'm not getting tens of thousands of views and all that yet, but I can see the long tail. Just eventually, it does pan out because you build out this fan base and people go down your rabbit hole. And then now I think I have over 11 hours of content. It's just a matter of time, right? You get the right enough people and all that. And then it's so much easier to have those conversations, to your point. And not if you want to sell product or pieces, but if you just want to have a real connection with people because they feel like they know you and
Yeah.
your brand. And to me, that's what this is about. So yeah, man, it was, I don't know. Have you ever, I think you had probably more of that experience than me. You're more the artiste of the two of us. But yeah, man, I was like, hey, I got a fan.
Yeah, it comes up at weird times. I was at a convention and somebody was looking at some of the things I had on display, and they just broke into this conversation about video games and the history of what I'm like, oh, okay. And we just kept talking. And they were like, I tried to give them a card and they were like, oh no, I'm already following you. I've been following you for such and such. I haven't been seeing a lot of emails lately. Where are they at? And I'm like, oh, I just assumed that they were a fresh person off the street, but no, they knew me. They knew of me. And yeah, it's weird how that gets around. Totally
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it. So
Yeah, spell and you're talking about the brand thing. It's amazing that the people who build brands, like who are what brands are built from, like these personalities, these ideas, these social movements, they don't understand brand, which is the great irony to me. Like you get a few people like Kanye who actually do it, live it, and understand it all at the same time. Michael Jackson, do it, he did it, he understood it all at the same time. Even Michael Jordan, you put him on that level. They knew it, they did it, and they understood it all at the same time. A lot of times you just get people who are just doing stuff and they don't understand that they have this whole brand thing that's put on top of them. And just it's fascinating that disconnect.
mhm, mhm. I love it, man. What's a disconnect to me?
Mm.
Trying to eat spicy nugs while you're
Oh,
playing video games. Have you tried to do that, Mr. Benja? You
I
try to
mean,
play on your controller and you try to get a nugget and it's spicy, it's got sauce all on it. And what do you do? What do you do, Mr. Benja?
oh
Look,
man,
I want to talk about the innovation of our time.
the
When I
biggest.
saw this, one of the biggest, you're right. When I saw this, I just said we had to talk about it. And James, you absolutely have to create something on this because this is
Nugs.
amazing. Wendy has a saucy, not spicy, saucy nugs,
Oh, saucy.
Nicholas. Saucy nugs, Nicholas. If you've never seen this, go look it up. This is an amazing feat of engineering. You put a necklace around your neck and it looks like a Ferris wheel where the nuggets come up, hit your mouth, and go back down. So you don't have to touch them at all while you're playing your video games. You don't get that saucy mess all on your fingers. It when I saw this is similar to other stuff that we saw on the internet, just made me crack up. Image of someone with that crazy looking thing around their neck while they're playing video games, while nuggets are trying to hit their mouth. It's just hilarious.
This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. Um, so yeah, Wendy's teamed up with Unnecessary Inventions, which is this guy who does unnecessary inventions, and IGN, which is a gaming website. Yeah. Hey, if you want to go get your spicy nugs necklace, and shout out Show versus Business for putting you on this awesome piece of equipment, go ahead. We will post you up. We'll do that. I'll guarantee that we post you up somehow if you send us an image of you wearing a spicy nugs necklace.
Saucy
Saucy
Nugs.
nugs.
Get it right. Get the branding right. And I love it. Yeah, that's a good. I like that, Mr. Benji. Put it out to the artists. You listen to this and you get to this point and you say, you know what? I have one. Let me just put an image, post you. We'll put it out there and highlight you on our podcast. Yeah. Let's put that out to the audience. I love it.
With this whole AI generated ad and completely fake looking cereal box saucy nugs necklace. Man, get out of here. I love you,
Mr.
Wendy's.
Benji, man. I love it, man. Anything else for this week?
Anything else, man? No. If you're wondering about the book, I added 2 chapters. That's what happened. But it's so good. It's good.
Put that work in. Put that
Yep.
work in. I love it. Yeah, man. I've been on a tear, man. We got a marketing guy to come in to help us with some new stuff. We're gonna change up
Awesome.
some things. So we're gonna move some things over for my business. And then, but yeah, man, the sales things, just trying to accelerate sales this fall. This is the cycle for us. I'm in the matrix right now with the sales stuff. I got a book. What's it called? Cold calling doesn't suck. Cold calling sucks until it doesn't. It's been helping me understand how to elevate, how have different conversations with people. And so I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, let me know if you get in that Grant Cardone cold call incubator.
Nah, I don't know about
Yeah.
that. But you know what, man? Yeah, I didn't want to do it, but it does accelerate things. If nothing else, at least you're on the radar. It does help with your open rates in email because then you left a message and you call them,
Yeah.
and LinkedIn. So, you create this ecosystem where you're just, professionally consistent and persistent.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this guy ain't going anywhere. So is this something I really want or don't? So
Yeah.
instead of dismissing, which I think we all do sometimes, but when we get stuff, dismiss it.
Is marketing still saying that you need at least 7 touches, or has that number gone up?
No, I still last I heard 7 to 8 touches
7 to 8, okay.
before people make a change. You know what?
I think I heard Dan Henry or somebody say you need 12 or 10, but I didn't know if that was
it might have. I know someone said it takes 11 hours, 4 locations. Yeah, that was what's the guy's name from Score app? Oversubscribe. Daniel Priestley. He said that you need 11 hours of content, right? Before someone becomes like a true fan. They have to consume 11 hours. Yes, you could have 11 hours, but they might never consume 11 hours of your content. But as long as you have it and they go down your rabbit hole and they get immersed in you enough. So that's like what, 10 or 11 podcasts? Yeah.
But how many 30 to 40 second shorts is that?
Yes, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. But just get better every day. That's what we do. 5% every day.
That's right.
So anyway, Mr. Benja, thanks for doing this. We always, hey everyone, look, we enjoy talking to you. So if you like this content, please subscribe, comment at Show versus Business on Twitter, also X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check out our website. We have a lot of our latest podcasts there, as well as ways for you to learn more about how to start your own podcast. Go check us out. The website, Show versus Business. Mr. Benja, have a great one.
Stay saucy. Peace.